guys, so new day at the shop, kind of follow up from yesterday, getting the car in here. The new motor already has new mounts and everything on it, so I gotta pull these two guys off, this guy, that other steel one that's down there. And basically what I'm doing, I pulled everything out from the interior. So, oh, there's my grandfather. We know that. So, we'll just keep going, she's good. But yeah, I got everything out of here. The tan interior is kind of growing on me, but I do like the black. Black on black is where it's at. Besides that, going to get this degreaser out, so this is what I'm running here. We got this stuff's really good. I used to use this on the transports and whatnot. Heavy duty degreaser cleaner. So I got a jug of that. Probably lasts me forever. But yeah, I'm going to spray all these down. You guys can see how greasy they are from the U-joints from the drive shaft there. And see if maybe Chris wants to get new U-joints. For sure. Change them both out. I'm going to spray this all down here. See if my squirter even works here. At least when we put it back together, it'll be clean, you know what I mean? So I'm going to spray this all off too, get all that. A lot of mud and stuff on everything, so that won't hurt the rad or nothing. But yeah, I'll get on a quick time lapse of this and see you next. No, that's how you do that, guys. So we got our torque arm all cleaned up, rad, AC unit. Transmission came out pretty good compared to what it was, boys. A couple other things, drive shaft. I still have the drive shaft from the other one, which is a little nicer. The manifold's cleaned up pretty good. I just gotta scuff them. Realized we got a big ding here, so I wanted to see if that was hitting or if we got to clearance something. Then this is the LS or LT1 bell housing. Got it pretty clean. You can see somebody tried to patch it, so that's kind of ghetto, but that's what we got. And then I took out my T56 just to clean it all up here. So I'll get this all dried back off, and then at least when we put my tranny back together. Alright, we're gonna hook this thing up. You guys know the process basically. Just gotta make sure it's up high enough. Gonna have to set you guys down probably. So, move this guy over. So you guys can see the valve covers don't fit at all. They have these centers, so these eldebrock heads, these obviously can't sit in between, right? So he had a special order set. I'll show you guys those later because he's on the way. And there's some nice. They're all billet aluminum. Super sick. Good buy for sure. So you want to make sure you're not jammed up. Move over a couple lengths. And then, let's see here. Looks like we got a loop going on there. Come on, girl. There. A little better. I'm going to pull it out. We're going to readjust just because we're on a weird angle because of the pallet. Pull off that rat. Let's see. It's got a brand new pan, brand new seal, brand new frost plugs. Iron block, got brand new engine mounts. I do have to pull this back off here so I can put the opti spark from the accel on. So I'm gonna have to get my puller and pull this guy off before we put it in. Alright guys, so just started going through this motor and wanted to basically put the opti spark on, the Ultra Opti Spark 2 on from accel. And so here, I'll open this up, show you what we're working with here. Okay, comes with instructions, pretty basic, just runs off the spark. But to change this guy, I just looked at it, right, and then this, we have this too, later. Yeah, I'm gonna change both of those, right? Okay, but I just started looking at this, and they put the water pump on, obviously, because they probably weren't thinking they were gonna change this. But I started looking at things. Look at the bolts that are loose. I don't know who built this, but the front cover is all loose. This is loose. I just pulled the water pump bolts out, so that's the only thing that was barely on there. But I'm gonna have to go through this whole thing. Hopefully the motor was actually put together right, because it could be in for some trouble. So I'm gonna have to set the lash too. Alright guys, so you guys just seen I got this pulled off here. So you have your up marks, and then on this with the 3, it has a up mark right there. So that's how it goes back on. Basically I pulled out the 3 bolts for the opti spark, and we're just gonna pull this guy straight off here. Right, just like that. So there is a dowel that sits in there. So we're gonna go put the other one just on the exact way that we just pulled this one off. Alright, so if you look at it when it came off, these do have a timing mark, so TDC. So basically you want this arrow pointing to this hole here. Okay? So that's downwards, that's like this. So what we did, I pulled it off like that. I'm going to do the exact same thing with this one. Set it this way. You look at it. I already set it up. Put a little bit of oil on your O-rings so you don't rip them when you put them in. And yeah, I'm just going to slide this little guy over. Let's see if we can get it first hit. Seems tighter, eh? Just like that, and Alright guys, so I just walked this on. You guys can see it's flush, bottomed out all the way. So that's the way that it goes. And we got this all tight around here, and then yeah, like I said, we'll clean these surfaces up, get this prepped, and kind of just go over the rest of the stuff around. And then we're going to change those two mounts too. So I gotta pull these bolts out, so 13s, and then pull off this other mount. I'm gonna move the steering linkage, pull these lines up, right? Get them out of the way for now. And then we have all kinds of access. So she's coming. Okay guys, so I got my mounts changed there. So one side has this on the other side, the other one has the mount itself, this side has the mount, the other one has the steel piece. So after I got this all installed, I started looking things over. Cool little thing. Oh, that's my gun, dropped my gun. This has a shaft for the water pump, which is cool. And to hook it to the front cover gear, it just has this spacer thing. So it is one way. You can see, sticks out like that. So that's that, and that's gonna go on there. I was just checking things over here, and because we're putting the headers on it, I gotta make a block off for the intake here. So I'm gonna make a nice little gasket. You can see there. So this, normally there's a pipe that comes out here, runs on the back side, and goes to the exhaust manifold. So yeah, we're going to basically do that. You guys can see here, it comes off here, goes straight into the exhaust manifold. So it must be a vacuum source of something. But yeah, here's another picture. You guys can see it comes off straight into the exhaust manifold. So it's an EGR pipe, basically is what it is, right? So you have the valve here, EGR valve, and then this is the pipe coming off. So yeah, I'm just gonna block that off because we are running these exhaust manifolds, these headers. So I have new gaskets, still gotta pull those off. But yeah, we got no EGR to go into those, so I'm going to get them cleaned up, make this block off plate, and then once everything's sealed in the back, I think we're going to be good to put the motor back in because everything's so tight in here. The cowl kind of sits out really far on Just gonna finish up for today, guys. I did just notice though another thing. You can see that the push rods are really loose, eh? So like I said, I had to set the lash. So technically the way to do this, so you don't have to pull the valve covers back off in the car and try to set them up after you get it running. And most guys try to prime the lifters before, but technically the proper way to do it, I mean, you can do it that way, but then you have to go back and readjust. So I looked it up, and I know an older fellow that has done it time and time the same way over and over. Basically, what he does is he'll set everything to zero lash. So what you do, normally the valve cover would be off, so I might have to pull this back off. I need to ask Chris some info about the motor and who built it. What type of cam it has in it. Does it have a flat type of cam, or is it, you know what I mean? So I'm going to set everything up here. Basically, these should be snug already before. So if you look here, look at the gap we have here. So nothing's obviously set. You can see here, I can push the push rod all the way down. So what it's supposed to do is when that valve goes down all the way, this is going to go down, right? And that's the preload. So you want to set everything to zero, but the main thing is you don't want oil in the lifters. A lot of guys will sit them in a bucket of oil overnight and take the push rod and try to get all the air out of them, right? So the proper way that I have seen is basically don't fill them up with oil at first, okay? Once you go from there, you're going to get zero lash on everything. Bring it all down, and then Basically this one's tight, I can't move it, it's just touching, okay? So this one, you can move it real easy, So you wanna bring them all to 0. So the proper way to do it, everything's gonna keep moving over time. So you wanna do 90 degrees, 90 degrees, and then do it again, 90 degrees. Go through them all again. If it needs tightened up, you tighten it up. It doesn't matter what cylinder it's on, if it's exhaust stroke, intake stroke, you're gonna do 2 full revolutions, so 90 degrees is what you'll do. And then by the time that's done, you can even go a little more if you'd like, but it depends how picky you are. But basically if you do that 8 90s, that'll be 2 full revolutions, so 1 revolution on the cam. And then from there you can go, what is it, it's, some guys go quarter turn, but the guy I was talking to goes 3/4 of a turn. So you start off straight, come up, come over, right? And then you do that on every single one, and that'll basically put the preload on them. So when you do it that way, there's no oil in your lifters, right? So you want to basically have the intake off, pour, I believe it was 5 liters in the valley. It'll lube up all the lifters on the outside. And then you can actually take out this oil pressure sensor, and you can actually basically start pumping the motor. You'll fill up the oil pump, and then you'll see actually coming out of the top of these will be the oil coming out of the rods. And then once you get that all bled out and stuff, then like with the valley off, you'll be able to see the lifters actually doing their job, like pushing all the air out. But you'll see all the oil will actually come out. So I'm going to talk to Chris and then basically go from there and see what he wants to do, because obviously this is more time consuming and I'm going to have to pull some stuff apart. So make sure you guys check back in tomorrow for the next video, and like, subscribe, share. I'll see you guys on the next one.